Now that we've got a solid understanding of AI's components and how it works, let's get into some of the practical stuff. In this section, we'll talk about some ways that people can use AI to augment their work and make themselves more productive in the process. And we'll also have a few demos in this area showing you exactly how you can incorporate some of these tools and techniques into your current workflow. At this point, you should have a good understanding of how AI works, where it's been used up to this point, and what the future is likely to look like. But let's do a deeper dive into what AI actually looks like for accounting and business professionals in particular, and how you can use these tools to help with some of the daily tasks that you're probably working on. I've alluded to this first one already, but AI is a great tool to draft client emails or other types of communications. But the key thing that I want to highlight here is that it's probably best to use AI just as a starting point. So you could feed it a few bullet points and you might even be able to tell it the tone of the message that you're looking for. And it's going to help you generate a full draft of your communication. But from there, I highly recommend tweaking that message to make sure that it's got the right context and tone, but at least having that nice starting point from the AI tool can be a huge time saver for you. As many of you probably know by now, a big part of accounting and finance jobs is explaining complex financial information or maybe transactions to people who might not be as well versed in the field. And this is another area where AI can provide a ton of help. So, for example, it can help you break down regulations, financial statements, or even spreadsheets into plain English that just about anybody could understand. So you could paste metrics into your prompt or possibly feed it a summary table, and then ask the AI tool to explain what that means in a way that's going to make sense to maybe an executive or a client, depending on your audience. A third common use case for AI is automating any redundant or maybe recurring types of entries. And this is a part of the accountant's role that was never really that glamorous to begin with. Based on historical information, AI tools can help autofill predictable journal entries or even just their descriptions, and depending on the tool that you're using, it could even possibly help categorize expenses or propose general ledger codes based on invoice descriptions. Using AI here definitely doesn't eliminate the need for human oversight, and any human who's leveraging AI here is probably still going to be held responsible for that work. But having AI here can at least speed up some of the grunt work and also reduce some of those manual errors. Another thing that AI is good at is catching things that might otherwise slip through the cracks. So, for instance, you can use AI tools to scan large data sets and ask for it to flag any unusual patterns, like maybe duplicate invoices, maybe there's an unexpected spike in expenses, or transactions that just don't match historical trends. Again, as the human in the equation, you still make the final call and ultimately you have responsibility. But using AI is like having a second set of eyes that never gets tired. One quick word of warning here: make sure that you're only using company approved tools if you're going to upload large data sets, especially if those data sets are going to have any proprietary or sensitive information. We'll get into this topic in much more depth later on, but depending on the license that you have for an AI solution, you might inadvertently give that model and the third party company access to the data just by uploading it into the tool. And obviously, that could cause some pretty huge problems. So, definitely a situation that we want to avoid. Another really cool use case is using AI to take raw data and convert that data into meaningful information. So, things like dashboards and maybe reports. So, for instance, you could upload a data set and ask an AI tool to generate a dashboard or to summarize key takeaways from that data set. At the end of the day, you still customize what's going to be most important to your audience, but going through the heavy lifting of creating a report or a visual can usually be automated by these types of tools. And lastly, AI can be a great tool to research or interpret tax code or any other types of laws, regulations, or maybe standards that might be hard to understand. If you use AI in this area, keep in mind it's just going to be your starting point. Common theme by now, but you're still going to be held responsible and possibly even legally liable for whatever information that you're providing to your company or maybe to your clients. So you really need to fact check whatever AI spits out at you, but at the same time, using AI can drastically help speed up your research. And like I mentioned earlier, It usually links the articles or the sites where it got its supporting information from. So, in a lot of cases, you can quickly go to those resources to make sure that the information's accurate and that it's coming from a reputable source.